Hello and welcome back to the Lamenters. We are here, and the crew in the last episode decided to take a stroll through the village and went to a cluster of homes to the north of the castle and discovered an abandoned church. And the local residents seemed to be sort of fearful. They upon seeing the group of people, they went back into their homes. The Lamenters decided to check out this church. They found it boarded up, closed up, and went around the back, hopped the wrought iron fence, which was not only part of the backyard, but also a small village cemetery. Broke down after much struggle, broke down the back door to the church. And upon going into the back entrance of the church, saw that there was a set of stone stairs leading down to kind of a cellar area with another very thick wooden door that had also been barricaded. And we left off where you guys had heard sounds, the sounds of scratching and moaning sounds, strange groaning and moaning sounds, and not just as if it were coming from one source. So the group of you guys are there. Igar looks very uncertain, and he says, he actually whispers in a low tone, he's like, I don't know what sort of fell creatures live behind that door, but I don't think it's good. Perhaps we should back out and formulate a plan. What
remember what we saw in the woods? Remember that zombie that came at us?
Yes.
I remember.
Yes, let's regroup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back out.
Yes. So you guys kind of back out. Taryn, you take the remnants of the door and kind of like hobble them together and lean some boards up against things. So it's not really even secure, but you know, there's something there. It's not just busted wide open. Where do you guys go and what do you do?
Should we reconvene at the tavern? Maybe
Yes.
send for Gizmo.
Yeah, we have to go get.
Yes, let's go get Gizmo.
Go pick him up.
Okay.
By anyway.
You guys, as you kind of leave the church area, you hop back over the fence and you begin sort of heading through the open land back towards the road. You notice that none of the people are out of their homes. Like everybody is in their homes, doors are closed. And actually, Freya, you notice like someone in one of the cottages has like the wooden shutters of their window, like just a crack open, and you see like some nosy person like looking out through the window. And then like kind of when you look over at them, they like close the shutters really fast. The people in
sounds like the people looks like the people really fear or know something that's going on in the church. So we really need to be aware when we try and go in.
You guys, head back down the road, and you get back closer to the castle, and you see it's, seems to be like pretty normal. Few people going here and there. Do you head back up to the castle to find your friend Gizmo and check on his progress?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. You go back up to the gate. Of course, you're recognized. They let you in. You enter the inner yards, and it actually seems pretty quiet. Like it looks like the training regimen that was going on. They've kind of ended their training. You see a fair few amount of the militia guards kind of walking towards one of the barracks, and some of them are not even wearing their armor. You know, their weapons, their armor are all stowed, but they all have uniforms on still. You go to the castle entrance, and you see one of the guards is a new guy. Looks like maybe they rotated their shift, but the other guard is there. He recognizes you, and he says, "Oh, back so soon, gentlemen? Do you wish to speak with the steward, or?"
We've come to collect our friend.
I see. One moment. Wait here. And he goes off. He goes inside. A few minutes later, Gizmo, one of the guards, comes into the office. Now, you have been doing some research with the steward and
Magister, it was?
yes, and you're you've made some progress in terms of learning about the ancestries, but no major breakthroughs as of yet. Nothing significant to, indicate any true revelations about this mystery. But one of the lead guards comes in and he says, "Excuse me, Magister, the couriers, they're outside. They'd like to see their friend here." And the Magister nods, and he's like, yes, that's fine. You may go. Perhaps we will reconvene tomorrow. My eyes are a bit tired as it is.
Okay, we will finish this history later. This seems to have something important, and I would, if they think it's important, but definitely tomorrow. Then.
Yes. Just return sometime after breakfast tomorrow. Yes.
Will
So
do, sir.
You get up, you grab your own personal notes and your book, and you gather your things. You follow the guard out, and you see your friends kind of waiting there. So Gizmo comes out. You guys see him come out, and Igar's like, perhaps we should return to the inn to discuss this more privately.
What have you found, guys, anyway?
Yes, let's talk at the inn.
Yeah, let's wait till we get in a private area where we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
Do we get by the blacksmith on the way out again?
yeah, you see the blacksmith shop. Although you don't hear the sound of iron ringing because you see through the open window. It looks like the blacksmiths are eating lunch. You see they have like bowls of stew and they're eating, and there's like some food out. It looks like they're on a kind of a lunch break.
Now, I want to make a small detour by them and knock on the door.
Okay.
Get their attention.
One of them looks up and he's one of the younger ones, and he maybe an apprentice. He sets his bowl of stew down and he's like, "Good afternoon, my lady. What can I help you with?"
Hi, I saw your nice shop here, and I was wondering if you might have any shields ready.
Oh, yes, for certain.
Nice fitting, form-fitting, cute little shield for me.
Let me ask my master one moment. And you see the master, who's like 15 feet away, sitting on a stool, who obviously heard this, but isn't paying any attention. He's like eating his stew, and the apprentice goes over and like whispers to him, and the master looks up at you and he nods. The apprentice comes back and he's like, "I'll bring a few over for you to take a look at. One moment." And after a couple minutes, he returns and he's got 3 different shields, roughly kind of the same design. They're pretty standard circular wood, sturdy oak shields with metal banding and rivets across them. And all of them basically look like they're of equal quality.
Okay.
And he says, now these are all new. None of them have been used, but they are of castle quality here.
All right. No, they look interesting. How much for one of these?
Yes, well, let me look up our price list, ma'am. My master is busy man doing a lot of work for the castle here, but it's always good to have some additional income whenever possible. Now, we could sell you one of these for 15 silver pieces.
Will 12 do?
You know what? Go ahead and make a roll under with your charisma.
Wait, charisma.
Yeah, you know your terrible charisma of 7?
Yeah, I got a 12 over 7.
Yeah. The apprentice looks at you and he's like, no, I'm sorry. I can't go any lower than that. My master has spent time making these shields, so.
I'll dig out my purse and scoop out the 15 silvers.
Can I intimidate him for a lower price?
You could certainly try, but
I don't believe you're giving us the fairest offer that you can.
he looks up at Arazen and go ahead and make a charisma roll under.
My charisma's 9. 17.
He's like, sir, I apologize, but this is the fairest price. If you'd like to speak to my master and interrupt his lunch.
Oh, very well. We'll take as is.
Yeah, like I said,
counts the 15 silver.
Hands him over the 15.
He counts the 15 silver and then recounts it. And then he's like, yes, this is 15.
Are we not trustworthy to you?
He goes, I'm sorry, I'm just an apprentice. The prices are set by my master.
All right.
Well met.
So
see if the master looks up, and if he does, I give him a nod and wave goodbye.
yeah, he looks up and like wipes some stew juice off of his beard, and then he nods. You take the pick of the 3 shields, and the apprentice takes the coins and brings it directly to his master. Anyone else interested in any transactions of a equipment base?
Not at this time.
Okay. You do, just for future reference, you do notice a multitude of other items that are on shelves or hanging from hooks. There are several axes, some swords, some daggers, that sort of thing, in addition to some shields and other items. So you conclude your business with the blacksmith, and you guys head back out of the yards and out of the castle walls and start heading down the hill. You pass by a few people who look like they're bringing things to the castle in a cart, and you go down and you walk into town and you get back to the inn. Upon arriving at the inn, you guys go up to one of the rooms that you have rented and close the door. And Gizmo, you are just piqued with curiosity, because at no point have any of your friends described why they interrupted your research, or why this, as Rollgood says, needs to be discussed in more private company.
Look.
So you guys are in the room. Proceed.
So, guys, what did you found out then?
While we were apart from you, Gizmo, we came upon a church. A church that was quite difficult to get into, by the way, I might add. It was actually very difficult. It made no sense how difficult it was, but there was a foul stench coming from inside, and we feel that we must have a plan of attack before we go back to this place with all of us in tow.
Do you have any idea what might be inside?
You remember what we encountered on the road on the way here after we set up camp?
The foul stench of zombies.
It sounds pretty much like that.
Okay, that
We
won't
could
be
be
easy.
sure,
It's
but there
one of
might
the
have
reasons I
been.
picked up a shield because I just wanted some extra.
Yeah, I think I might have heard more than one noise or more than one voice in in the area where we were, and so we might be looking at some multiple attackers if we go into this area.
It certainly would explain why the church was boarded up and so well sealed. They were trying to keep
everybody's
something inside.
Pretty skittish when we went in, and like clearing the streets and everything, like expecting the worst. It's hinky.
To say the least, my friend. To say the least. What a lady.
I'm getting intrigued. Do we have torches or something like that?
I've got a lantern.
I do have a torch.
I definitely have a torch as well.
Okay. Then, okay. I'll need an hour to prepare one thing, and then I'll be capable going out. And I open my book and prepare enlarge once more.
Well met, my friend. Taryn, with all that work trying to break the door in, should we go get a drink to replenish ourselves while we wait for Gizmo to prepare?
I could certainly use a few.
Yeah.
I concur. Gizmo, we'll wait for you at the inn.
Well, downstairs at
Understood.
the bar.
Oh, yes, downstairs. The common room. What was I thinking? Oh, wait, it was our last adventure.
Okay.
Igar tells you guys that he needs some time to pray and ask his God for guidance regarding dealing with this.
Mhm.
He's going to stay up in the room with Gizmo doing his own prayers and preparations.
We'll meet in the common room when you all are ready to continue.
So does everyone else go to the common room then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't light the drinks, fellas, because we might have a battle on our hands, and we don't want to go in drunk.
No, not drunk, but just a little to take the edge off.
Exactly.
Quite better with a couple.
Plus, I'm really upset that I couldn't break the door down with one blow. I must drink my sorrows away.
And
Little
while we're sitting,
rounds
I'm going to take out my rapier and look at how well it's doing and if it needs any sharpening up.
Little known fact, maybe, for those of you who are new to Lamentations of the Flame Princess, there are actually mechanics for drugs and alcohol.
First round's on me.
Did I mention I was only having one drink?
allow me to quote, alcohol is far more pernicious, as it is quite common for most everyone to use it to excess, as beer and wine are often safer to drink than plain water.
Lovely.
Drunk characters are -2 to dexterity and all saving throws.
So for
Now,
me,
I find it funny that there's no benefit though. Like maybe you get 2 temporary hit points, just because you're more numb, and I don't know. Maybe I'll home do that.
so that -2 would put me at a 4 dexterity.
Yeah, you would not win at a knife throwing contest.
Oh, you might be harder to hit
My
if you're
dex
drunk,
isn't
but
terrible.
That's why I carry around a big sword. It's hard to miss.
So you guys go down to the common room. There are a few patrons already there. It's mid-afternoon, and it looks like a few of the guys that you saw who were laborers that were unloading carts and stuff. It looks like their shift is done because they're already at the bar, and they're chuckling and laughing. And there's another table with some travelers who look like they've just gotten into town, perhaps, and they have food in front of them and drinks. And there's even a minstrel in the corner who is playing a nice little song on a lute and singing a tale.
And lean over to Arizin. I'm gonna tell him, hey, why don't we have a little fun here tonight while we're waiting?
You lead the way, brother. I'm right behind you.
All right, just follow my lead, and I'll go up to the bar and get us a round of drinks.
Okay.
I'm gonna after a couple drinks, I'm gonna instigate and start basically an arm wrestling game with Arizin
Ooh.
I'm going to lose on purpose on the first one, and I'm going to start getting everybody else. Hey, who can beat this man?
Okay.
10 silver to the one that can
Let's
beat him.
raise some coin.
Ooh, 10. Now, just to give you some idea, 10 silver is way more than anyone in this bar would have. You would be lucky to get 8 silver.
All right, we'll start out as silver.
Whatever you can afford to lose.
So, Taryn, you begin this process. You know, you find one of the empty, smaller round tables. You sit across from Arizen, and you start, flexing. You put on a show. Go ahead and make a charisma roll under to see how good of a performance how convincing you are.
Okay, I have an okay charisma, so let's see how this works out.
You have the best charisma, actually.
I rolled my actual charisma, so I rolled a 12 on the die, and I have a 12.
Okay. You succeed in getting people's attention. You cough up a silver to Arizen after you purposely lose the first round. kind of sell the gag, and Arizen, mirthfully laughs, and a few of the guys that are laborers come over with their mugs and they're watching.
Who else dare challenge me?
Someone beat this guy for me.
You see one of the laborers who looks pretty strong. He kind of comes over and he's like, he looks at Arizen and he goes, "Oh, I'll give it a try." And he pulls out a silver coin and he sets it on the table. And he sits down and he kind of rolls up his sleeves, and his hands are calloused from a lot of work. And you see as he rolls up his sleeves, he's got pretty good forearms and biceps, and he kind of flexes and stretches a little bit and sits down. And a few of his buddies are like, "Yeah, get him, Gregor, get him." And the guy nods and he's like, all right, let's give it a go. And he arms up, and you guys sit across from each other. You grip. And Taryn, at this point, you kind of become the ref, and you call the beginning of the match. And once you start it, this is how this is going to proceed. It's going to be the best of 3 rolls. Okay. So the first roll is the initial clamp to see who's got the advantage on the get-go. I just dropped a D20. I don't know where.
Oh, no.
Sounds like a win.
Sounds like I scared the competition away.
It fell into my jacket pocket. All right, so the first roll, and this is a matter of rolling under for strength. I don't know, is there an arm wrestling mechanic in?
Well, no matter what I roll, it will be a roll under for strength, my friend.
There needs to be a mechanic if there isn't one.
There might be. There might be. But we're going to do a roll under for strength. Okay. So let's make the first roll.
8.
He rolled a 2. So he gets the grip and he starts going on it. And surprisingly, this guy is putting in some effort. All right. Second roll.
Farmer's strength. 10.
Okay. You beat him on that one. So you bring it back to the middle. Third roll.
6.
You win. You rolled a 19.
Raw!
You clamp him down and he's like, oh.
Well met, sir. Well met. You're very strong.
And he throws you a silver. And he's like, right, you are too. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Any other takers?
And you look around the room, and no one seems to dare to step up to you. But you notice that the minstrel playing in the corner kind of looks over, and he finishes his song, and he carefully sets his lute down on its case, and he walks over and he goes, I'll take my chances. And let me describe this man. He's like very slight of build, about 5'8", maybe 140 pounds, like just very slight of build, like kind of curly blonde hair. Looks like he's been on the road quite a bit, but doesn't have armor or weapons. but he sits down across from you and he puts down a silver piece.
I put my silver piece on the table.
Yes. Well, let's go then. Oh, hold on.
Oh no.
The contested roll, both parties roll 1d20 and apply both their melee attack and strength bonuses. Oh, all right. Ties are decided by dexterity. That's an interesting mechanic.
Huh.
Okay, all right. Well, let's try this then. So instead of a roll under, we're going to roll a d20, and you're going to apply your strength bonus, and he'll apply his, which is -1.
All right.
All right, ready?
Sounds quite unfair, but I will play along.
3 rolls, best of 3. First roll, and go. Oh,
15.
he rolled an 18. So even with -1, that's 17. So
Where did this strength come from?
you were shocked by this sinewy little dude who gets the drop on you, and he starts pushing you down. Second roll.
18.
Okay, you win that one. He's like, you start bringing it back. Third roll.
24.
Oh my God.
I'm done playing games with you. Go play me some more music.
You crush him, and he's like, and he's like, well earned, strong man, well earned. What is your name, good sir?
My name is Arizen. I'm pleased to meet you.
I am Ferric. It has been a true pleasure. One moment, let me grab my belongings. Perhaps we can enjoy an ale together.
Yes, please join us for a drink.
He walks over, he puts his loot in its case and closes it up and slings it over his shoulder and grabs his bag, and he comes over to your guys' table and he sits down and he takes a drink from his mug and he says, "Cheers to you."
Cheers.
So tell me, what are you lot doing here in Lee County? It's not often that I come through this way, perhaps only, once a season as I make my travels earning my way, but I'm always interested in hearing the stories of others and adventures. Sometimes I even craft a song about those that pique my interest most. So
I can see it now. A song about this band of miscreants. Well met, sir.
What brings you lot?
We're simple adventurers. We have traveled from far and wide and have come together to pursue coin and women and blood.
Yes, well, indeed. And have you any specific tales to share that I might add to my list of sagas? And you notice he reaches into his backpack and he pulls out a small journal, and he sets it down carefully. He pulls out a leather pouch, and out from the leather pouch he pulls out an inkwell, and he sets that down, and he pulls out a quill and dips it, and he's like, "Do tell."
Well, Taryn, we could tell him about the time we destroyed all those orcs. We could tell him about the zombies. We could tell him about the bar maidens that we've conquered. What story shall we share?
How about the one where I almost died?
Oh, I don't like that story.
Yes, tell me that.
I keep thinking about it.
He looks to you, Taryn, and he's like, "Yes, tell me that one. Does that have to do with the orcs?"
Oh, there were orcs, all right. We were on a simple little message mission to go check on some people and another courier. But on the way back, we went a different route near the river. We found some tracks. We went across, and as one of my compatriots went into a bush, there was the orc right in his face.
He's like rapidly writing this down in his journal. Yes, carry on. Then what happened?
Well, the fight started, of course. I ran across the river. We were all trying to fight the two orcs that popped out of the bush. And somehow this orc stabbed me right through the chest, right here. And I kind of pull my armor aside, and you can see, like, while it's healed, there's a pretty good gash right there in my chest. And thankfully, my friend who's upstairs right now, he's a priest. He brought me back from the brink of death.
Ah,
I seem to recall it was hordes of them coming in from every side. We were fighting them tooth and nail, battling them to the death.
oh,
And then
Oh,
someone
you're-
got a lucky blow in on my brethren.
I
You
shot
brought-
at least 3 of them.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
you're right. I think the ales addled my brain. There was more.
You do not give yourself enough credit, my friend.
and how did you come by this orc party of ladies? And how did you survive their filthy stone sharp axes?
Oh, these
Well,
axes.
these were no
they-
normal orcs.
No.
Not
Please,
normal.
Arizon.
We are skilled, you know. We can handle ourselves.
Absolutely.
What do you
Absolutely.
mean by not normal?
They had
No.
armor
Right.
and they were trained and they would walk like humans.
They
They
had
walk like
shoes.
men. They would, yes, look like they had some
Sir,
money.
Are
Fought,
you pulling
fought
my
like
leg?
men. They fought
This
like
is
men.
actually a true story, my friend.
I have never heard of such orcs with training and swords.
It was quite a sight to behold.
Believe it.
They
I've
put
not-
up quite a fight.
I've not heard of such things, but I will certainly be willing to embellish the tale a bit. Now, you, sir, with the bow, you said you shot several of them. And was anyone else wounded or near death's door?
I don't recall exactly how many, but once you get in this flow of shooting arrows at orcs, you just shoot and shoot and shoot until they're all down. And I dropped at least 6 of them before one of them got through my arrows to my friend Taryn.
You see him jotting all of these notes down, furiously dipping his quill and writing it. And while the page is drying, he says, "Now, you mentioned something else of your encounters, not orcs, but did you say something of the dead?"
You speak of the undead, my friend. Yes, quite. We had quite a battle with the undead.
I have heard many of the peasants tell tale of hauntings and ghosts, but I have not heard of any undead.
Even in death, they were no match for our crew.
Do tell what was the circumstance upon which you discovered this?
Well, we were traveling down the road, as we often do, and my friends don't quite embellish on their stories, so I will. First of all, let me paint a picture for you. When my friend Brogood was flying arrows through the air, it was like a rain of death from the heavens firing down upon them. It was glorious. Oh, wait, the undead. Sorry, wrong story. So, the undead. We were crossing a bridge and some peasant folks came upon us and we asked them what their problem was. What did they have a problem with that we needed to help them with? And, well, they did not answer, and we had to kill them. But turns out they were already dead. So, later that night, some of them found our camp, and we had to kill them again. But this time we killed them correctly. Minstrel,
No,
have I lost you with my detail?
I am astonished. Attacked by highwaymen, who then returned amongst the living dead.
Yes, indeed.
And this occurred within this very area.
This very same.
Astounding. I must admit, gentlemen, these tales are incredible, and I find myself quite at your beck and call. I'm truly appreciating these sagas, and perhaps tonight around dinner we could meet up for drinks, and I would be happy to buy a round and hear more of your tales. But alas, I have been on the road for some time, so I was going to head up to my room and rest for a little bit.
Yes, I fear you should follow us on our adventures and write tales and songs of our adventures and share them with the world for everyone to know our fame.
Well, depending on where you're going, perhaps I would accompany you. I do seek out larger towns where more coin is available for a performing man such as myself. So,
Wait, have we heard you perform yet? I'm gonna need to hear a performance so I can know if I can trust that your talent is to par.
well, of course.
Please play us a tune, my friend.
And he starts playing you a tune. He pulls out his lute. He wipes the ink away from his fingers on his clothes, and then he gets out his lute and he tunes it. Long ago, in days of old, there was a man who stole much gold. He slayed and he backstabbed, picked and pulled, until he was caught and as slave sold. Dring, ding, 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 ding. And he carries out the song. And by the end of it, you're like, yeah, this guy's legit. He could sing in tune and play the lute. So he nods, and actually, I'll make a roll for him. Ooh, a stellar performance roll. Some of the people applaud him, and somebody even comes by with a few coppers, and he's like, thank you. Yes, thank you. And he sets his lute back in its case. He's like, so perhaps tonight we shall supper together.
Well met, my friend. That sounds good to me, as long as my compatriots feel the same way.
Oh,
Yes,
yep.
Definitely.
Yes.
he packs up all of his stuff and grabs his stuff, and he says, well then, tonight I shall see you. Good afternoon. And he
Good afternoon.
walks off. You see him head out of the entrance to the common room and go up the stairs towards the rooms. So with that, you guys have a few more beers, and not too long afterwards, Gizmo and Igar come down.
We should be ready.
Gizmo seems ready. Igar seems resolute, but cautious. And he says, well, shall we, gentlemen?
We shall.
Ciao.
I must say that while you two were working on your spells and whatnot, we met quite a fine gentleman who played one hell of a lute.
Interesting.
I just like him because he lost money to me.
How did he lose money to you?
Oh, our friend Taryn decided we should have an arm wrestling contest, and no one could best me, clearly.
Oh.
So I took his money, and then I offered him to sit and drink with us.
Okay. Well, hope we meet him again then.
He will sing our tales for centuries to come. They will all sing of us.
Let's head towards business then.
Arizon is feeling a sudden rush of life that he hasn't felt in quite some time.
You guys have all of your items that you said you wanted to bring. I'm assuming weapons and armor, swords, shields, that kind of stuff, torches. Igar is clutching his holy symbol around his neck as you guys walk north along the town. And a quarter mile later, you see up ahead the small enclave of cottages, as well as the church, the lonely church building. And by this time, it's like late afternoon, so there's still plenty of sunlight. As you guys are approaching, once again, you see the few people who are out on the front porches of their cottages, like kind of see you guys coming, and they all like scatter into their homes and close the doors, close the shutters on the windows.
So it looks as if they fear us and not whatever is in this place. Because if they feared what was here, they would not be out before we arrived.
Well, they might fear us going in and what might come out.
Oh, so we must keep it contained then, whatever we find.
That's our goal.
Yeah.
Indeed. You, as you guys kind of go back around the route where you went and carefully climb over the fence. You get to the back of the church. And you see something interesting. You see the makeshift, like, destroyed door has been propped up, and you see a series of boards that have been shoddily nailed together to kind of put the door back into place, and several boards kind of over it in front of the door, and as if it's been barricaded once again. And you see on one of the boards, scratched, like kind of carved in with some kind of blade, is just a very crude "keep out."
We should have done that before we left in the first place. We left the town vulnerable. So I'm going to try to get someone's attention and see if there's a reason why we shouldn't kill what's inside this place. Oi, townspeople! Can anyone hear me?
You don't.
We mean you no harm.
You do not hear any response.
Then I suppose no one will mind if we kill whatever is inside this place.
You do not hear any response.
Very well. We will commence.
You guys, as you're standing by the back door, faintly hear the groans and moans, and the scratching seem to intensify once Arazen started shouting.
Try to lean on barricade and hear it, if it's like close behind it or far.
No, it sounds like it's still deeper, like in that cellar area, but it's almost like his yelling somehow got their attention.
Well, I guess it's no surprise that we're coming for them.
Let's get to work.
So you want to try busting down this door again?
Try and pull these boards off.
Okay. It is not hard at all. You don't even need to make any rolls. You just, I mean, this was obviously something that was done like within the last hour, right? Like, and is shoddy. Even the nails that they used seemed to be like recycled. A lot of them were like bent and rusty. So you just kind of pry these things off, and you know, shove the door open again. And again, you see the stone stairs that descend to the cellar and the big door. And once you're inside this back entrance, the sounds of the groaning can be heard much more clearly, and the intensity of the scratching is much clearer.
I assume it's dark going down towards the cellar. There's no light inside.
Correct.
I'll light it. Yeah, I'll light a torch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Torch in one hand, long sword in the other.
Okay.
I'll hand my
bowl.
torch to somebody else because I can't really use.
So I'm going to go around and ask each one of you what you have equipped. Roll Good, what do you have equipped?
Yeah, I pull out my bowl and get that ready just in case.
Okay. Freya, what do you have equipped?
I have my shield and rapier out. I might try to hold a torch from someone in my shield hand, if that works out.
Okay.
I doubt holding my lantern will work behind the shield.
Okay.
Can someone not cast illumination in this party? What's wrong with us? We need torches? What are we, archaic?
Well, it was a choice I had to make. You could have either been big or have a light.
Oh,
Make your choices next time.
if that's the case, I appreciate being big. Thank you very much. Oh, Gizmo, well met.
Bear in mind that apparently the height of the ceiling of that door is only 6 feet. This looks like a cellar, you know, like kind of an old school literal earth, like dirt floor cellar kind of thing. Like the stone steps lead down to a very primitive, old foundational area.
Probably some tight quarters in there.
Before we proceed, we must also acknowledge that it might lead to underground tunneling. There could be well more than we're prepared to meet, but I will always meet death face on.
And speaking of death face on, Arizen, what do you have equipped?
I have my longsword and a torch at the moment, but if someone does not have a torch, I can hand my torch over and hold my shield. Does anyone need to hold a torch?
Igar tells you that he needs to keep his hands free and his holy symbol handy.
I can always chuck the torch at whatever, then, you know, do battle that way. It depends. I'll be fine, yes.
Okay. Taryn?
I'm gonna change pace and actually hold a torch, and I'm going to use the axe that I got from the bandits.
Okay. So you got an axe in one hand, torch in the other. Gizmo?
Yeah.
I think Gizmo, since it's tight space, he would opt for dagger for now.
Okay.
As few things in hands as possible.
Okay. So Igar tells you that if these are truly undead, that once the door is open and he sees them, he can invoke the power of his god to possibly drive them back. But that if that doesn't work, you guys should be ready to kill all of them. And Igar's like clearly taking here. And he says, my friends, I must admit, I have never successfully invoked this power bestowed to me by my gods, but I've been praying fervently. So
Yeah.
There's a first time for everything.
Question for the DM.
yes.
This staircase going downwards, is this like a situation where we would only have to fight one at a time if they were to come up to us? Or is this like a side-by-side?
Like, are they tunneled?
It is pretty much tunneled. It's a door that could two could probably push their way through.
Yeah.
But they would have to either push out of the door into the stairwell to fight you with two of them, or fall back, but you don't know what's beyond the door.
Right. Just wanted to know.
I have one more thing I would like to do. I would like to take one of my arrows and get it ready and pour a little bit of oil on it and light it up from one of the torches. So I have a flaming arrow.
Okay, so here's what I need to know. Who is opening the door? I need marching order. So the stairs only go down 6 feet. So I'm going to say there could be one person at the base of the stairs who's opening the door, and 2 people on the stairs behind them going up, and 2 people at the landing of the stairs. So Igar's like, I'll be back here. And he's like holding his holy symbol.
Is the door surrounded by stone or is it more wood?
Let me think about that. It would not be a foundation wall. So it would be wood.
Damn. I thought maybe we could burn them out.
But
I don't want to burn the house down around us, as it were.
The exterior of the church has thick, old foundation blocks, but that's on the exterior walls. This descends interior.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like I'll be the one breaking the door in, I suppose.
I'll be right behind you, brother.
Did we barricade the door into the church? Sounds like we should.
It's decimated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not much of a door left.
Yeah. All right.
so the removal of the deadbolt that you guys can see is easy. I mean, you literally just lift this thick oak cord out of the way. But the door itself is also locked. So do you want to see if somebody can work the lock?
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'll motion to Bro Good or Freya. See if they want to try it.
Okay,
Should we check it for traps?
you could.
That'd be your purview.
Go ahead and make a search roll.
I have one pip, so yes, 1 on 1.
Okay. You find it a little bit disconcerting that as you're like going around the seams of the door and investigating the handle and the lock, that you hear the intensity of the scratching and the groaning grow. And there's even like thud, like they're thumping up against it. But you thoroughly check all around the hinges and the seams of the door. You don't feel like there's any traps that you can discern.
Okay.
The door is locked, and it looks like a simple kind of, skeleton key thing. And as they're thudding and scratching and kind of pounding on the door is kind of vibrating, but it's very thick. Like there's no way they're breaking through it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to attempt to pick the lock? I will have your back with my sword so that you will not be taken by surprise once the door opens. I will ram the sword through whomever is standing there.
Hey, I wanted to stand at the top of the stairs and get a burning arrow ready. If we could get the door open, I could shoot the first one that comes out. So I won't be able to do both of those things. I won't be able to open the door. Fry, you think you can get the door open?
I could try. I have a 1 in 6 chance, but...
Freya?
We believe in you, Freya.
It's a 2 out of 1. Close.
Freya, might I ask, do you have oil lantern or with candle?
I have a lantern with me, but I'm holding someone's trying to hold balance with the top.
No, I meant if you have fuel like oil or something that we might chuck at them.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of oil.
I think I do.
Let's see.
Let's be careful slinging around oil.
Almost 3 bottles of oil.
Right.
We don't want to.
We're literally inside.
Entrance.
We're inside a wooden coffin. Don't be throwing flame everywhere until we can assess the damage.
Well, right now we are as close to the exit as we will ever be if we go inside, so this might be ideal time to use it.
Okay.
No fire here.
Okay.
So who picked the lock and what was the result?
I had 2 on a 1 in 6.
No one picked the lock. We're terrible.
You feel though like you're close, like you got some of the tumblers, and it's not a complex lock. Roll good. Do you want to give it a try?
Yeah, I can give it a try.
Then back the hell out of there and get your arrow on the ready.
Well,
yeah, that was a 4.
Okay. You feel like the lock is almost turned. But
turn it with this axe.
You could smash it and hope that you break through the little deadbolt. Do you want to force it?
If we're out of options with picking it, I will.
Okay.
yeah.
So you switch places. Roll good, I assume, goes back up with Bo. Freya spins back. Gizmo and I are at the top.
Yeah, basically I'm third in line.
Whatever comes, Terran, I've got your back, brother. Let's kick this door. Let's break this door down and destroy whatever's behind it.
Okay, go ahead, Terran. Make your roll to smash through the door.
D6 or 20?
Yep.
It's a 1.
You haul back and you slam and you hit with the axe just at the right part where the little metal deadbolt would hit, and you smash it open. And there's a chunk of the door broken out. Now you don't slam the door open.
Right.
But you knock it out, and you could see a chunk where it would lock, and basically it is now unlocked and ready to be opened. Interestingly enough, you see something moving around like seconds after you break this out, and you see like fingers reaching through, but they're like gray and mottled and brown and greenish. The skin seems to be kind of like
putrid.
Yes.
Let's do this, and I'll give everyone a look and slam the door open.
Okay. You slam the door open. and you're pushing against things that are in front of the door. So you're going to make another strength check.
Okay. 6. That's not. That's a 1.
You kind of squat down, lowering your center of gravity, and you shove with your axe in one hand. You shove the door, and you push these things back, and you hear them kind of fall. And you get the door kind of halfway open, and you see 2 zombies that you knocked over that are on the ground. But there's one behind the door that must still be standing up.
Mm-hmm.
And now we will move into initiative. Everybody roll initiative. Tell me what you got.
4.
5.
14.
Sorry, initiative is D20 plus Dex.
Yeah.
We are using. Yeah. Okay.
Who got the 5, Arizen? Who got the 14?
Darren.
Okay, Freya.
Oh, I was muted. I would 14 as well.
Gizmo.
15.
And I got 9. Wah, wah. All right, and the zombies go last. Okay, so Taryn pushes this thing open. You see 2 of the zombies flopped out. And just beyond, by the way, I'll tell you what you see. It's a room. It's definitely like an earth and kind of like rocky floor. Your torchlight kind of illuminates just the first like 15 feet of the room. But it seems to be a fairly large room that must be underneath like the back, like the altar of the church. So you don't even see the walls fully, but you see the first kind of bit of the entranceway. And you know that there are 2 of these zombies on the ground who are kind of slowly shambling up. And then there's one that you feel you didn't knock down who's like behind the door. Okay. So Gizmo, you see this as you see Taryn kind of push open the door. You're at the top of the stairs. You could see down, and you could clearly see over his and Arizen's shoulder. Well, not so clearly, but you could see these 2 zombies down there. What do you do?
I try to hold, throwing my dagger if they will be in a better angle.
Okay, so you'll hold off. All right, Taryn and Freya, you guys tied, so let me see who has the higher ones.
I bet she does.
Yeah. Yep. Freya, you get to go first.
All right. So I was holding my torch with my shield hand, so I want to do a little shift around with my sword and rapier and toss in the torch into the room.
Like at the zombies? Okay.
Well, just a little over the shoulder behind them.
Go ahead and make an attack roll with the torch using dexterity.
Yes, 19 plus 1, 20.
Perfect. I wanted to see if you rolled a 1, you would burn Arizen or Taryn. All right, so Taryn and Arizen, over your shoulder between you, this torch just goes, and you hear the sound of the flames whip past you, and it drops just beyond the zombies. So you could see a little more of the room beyond. And you see on the dirt and kind of gravel floor that this seems to be some kind of like storage room, like beyond them, up against the walls, there's like shelves and some crates and different things. But you don't see completely beyond, but you see more of the room.
And of course now I shift back to my rapier.
Okay. Taryn, you're up.
Okay.
You got 2 zombies right in front of you.
Okay, I'm gonna. How far are they in from from my position at the door?
5 feet. They are within your range to move in and attack.
Okay, so would it make sense if I could step in, hold the door, and attack one? Because I sense that there's another one behind the door.
You could step forward holding the door. No, because you're a righty.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the door is
yeah.
opened to your right. So if you step in, you could attack. You could step in and shift left, allowing someone else to get in, like Arizen. And then you're on one side of one of the zombies.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll step in to the left and I'll give a shout behind me. Arizen, there's 3, 1 behind the door. And then I'll go to attack one of them.
Okay. So you move in, shift to the left, and swing down at one as it's trying to get up. You have a +2 to your attack against this creature.
One question. I'm using the axe this time. Is that that's not a D10, I assume. That would be what, a D8? 6? Okay, great. Here we go. That's an 11 plus 6, we said?
Yep.
Just now? Alright, that's a 17 to hit. And 4 on the die for damage.
Okay. Okay. You swipe down at it and take a huge chunk out of it. It seems to have absorbed the hit, and it's still struggling to kind of get up, and it's snarling at you and like kind of trying to get up towards you. Up next, coming in at 9 is Igar. Igar shuffles down the stairs and begins praying out loud, and he's like, I call upon the God of Light to grant me the power to turn these foul beasts and abominations. And he begins uttering the words to cast his spell. And now for those of us learning the game of Lamentations of the Flame Princess, very much based on old school D&D mechanics, yet with its own fun twist. We have the ability to turn undead, which is a spell, not an ability, I should clarify. And it is a matter of rolling these dice and consulting a chart. So, that is an 8, which is enough to turn one of them. You guys see this strange thing that you've never seen before. You see Igar's holy symbol begin to kind of glow. Not enough to cast like a light per se, but about the brightness of like a candle. And you see like one of the undead, the one that was not hit by Terran, begin to skitter back. It's still on the ground, but it skitters away. And it's like, and it begins moving away, and it shuffles kind of back on its legs and arms about 10 feet back into the room. Up next, we have Arizen. You're up.
Okay, so I nudge the door to, if anyone's behind it, I should give them a bump before I step in and with my longsword.
Okay. There's definitely a zombie behind the door. You can do a strength attack to kind of try to smash it behind the door if you want.
21.
You do. Roll a d4 for smashing damage.
Interesting. 3.
Okay. You jam this door, and it's now fully hinged back. And basically what you've done is pin the zombie between the door and the wall. So you're holding it, and it ain't moving, it's not getting out. But what you've also done is moved into the room and opened up the doorway for anyone else. Which then brings us to Gizmo? No. Where was Roll Good, sorry.
So I'd like to try to get down to the bottom of the steps and shoot my bow. I don't know what kind of a...
You can see now, actually, by doing that, Arizen basically opened up the doorway. So what you see, just even within your range, is you see the one that Terran hit with his axe is clearly visible. And then the one that was turned and began fleeing backwards is still visible because of the torch that was thrown. So you could shoot at either one.
Okay, I'm gonna try to shoot at the one that's scooting back away from us.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a 2.
Okay, you fire your arrow and it kind of flies just past the thing and ricochets off the ground. To them, the zombie that you attacked tries to grab your leg, Terran. What's your armor class? Terran's armor class is 13. It misses just barely. It grabs like part of your pants legs, but you like kind of back away, just out of its grasp. The one behind the door fails in its resistance check. It's struggling, but it's like, but like you have it clearly pinned. Okay, top of the order, Gizmo, you're up.
Okay. Do I see any zombie from top of the stair?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can see clearly the one that Karen is struggling with, and you can even see past your friends, the one that is a little further back because of the torch that was thrown in.
Yeah, okay. Throwing dagger.
At which one? One that Tyrion's fighting?
The closer one, so
That's one Tyrion.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. 20 plus 4.
Natural 20?
Yeah.
All right, double damage. Roll it.
Okay, so that's D6.
Dagger's D4. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, it's D4.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
D4.
I have done bad notes. Sorry. 1, so 2.
No, we're using the Bill Allan damage alternative scoring system, so that's a 5.
Okay.
Max out the first one. So you hit it, and you see Terran, like over your shoulder, you see this dagger go again, spinning, and it just sinks into the shoulder of this zombie and like kind of knocks it back down as it's trying to get up towards you to attack. All right, so that's good. Next up is Freya.
I step up to the dude that's on the floor and stab him with a rapier.
Okay.
An easy kill.
You get a +2 on top of your attack bonus because it's once again knocked down and you're kind of flanking it between you and Terran.
+2?
Yep.
I needed that. 6.
Total?
Yeah.
That's a hit. Somehow you run up and maybe you're just jarred by the fact that you're seeing this undead person who just looks like some poor commoner, but just this monstrous abomination of undeath, and you kind of go to stab at it and you just shift out of the way just as you're trying to pierce it with your rapier. Terran, you're up.
All right, let's see if we can finish this off.
Okay, you get a +2 again because you have this thing it's on the ground and it's between you and Freya.
So that's a +8 then after my other bonuses.
Okay,
that's 19 total.
that's a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's another 4 on the die of damage.
It seems to just, you're taking meat out of this thing, but it's still struggling to try to grapple you.
Okay.
Igar continues focusing on his magic, and as he progresses to the bottom of the stairs, he doesn't go into the room, but he's kind of in the corner, like wedged in the corner, so that he's outside the door and just around the corner from Arizen, and he calls out once again to his god. And you notice the one that was backing away before that Roll Good tried to shot continues to kind of skitter back in terror, fleeing away from the holiness that is emanating from Igar. Arazen, you are up.
Is there a torch holder that I can place my torch into, like, or a ledge or anywhere I can lay the torch so I can wield my shield so I can back them off and stab them at the same, if we get under attack?
I will say you don't need to make a roll for this, but you could toss your torch on the ground, on the earthen, rocky ground, and use your turn to kind of do that and wrangle your shield out while you're bracing the door.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Okay. Roll Good, you're up.
So I'm going to switch tactics and try to get a shot at the one next to Terran.
Okay.
Is it still a +2? Yeah. So that's 19.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
And that's 4 damage.
You sink an arrow into it, and it flops back down. And it doesn't move. It is their turn. The one that you just shot isn't moving. The one that is behind you guys continues skittering back. And those of you who are in the room now, thanks to the torch that was tossed kind of more into the middle of the room by Freya, you could see that this room extends. It's about a 25 by 20 foot room. And there are, like I said, a storage room. You could see the walls on the far edge, and it looks like this one's kind of skittering back as far away from Igar as it can. And there are shelves, like just kind of shoddy wooden shelves, and a few crates in the room. The third one will struggle, but fails to get out of the door from which it is pinned. Which brings us to the top of the order. Gizmo, you're up.
Okay. I have free hands, so I pull out my sling and move like 2 steps down to see better in the room, but no, and hold it.
Okay. Freya, you're up.
Yeah. I'm trying to recover from my fumble and try stabbing the dude again. And that's a 5 + 4, 7. 9.
That is a hit. Roll damage.
Rapier 8, it's 7 damage.
You stab it again. It does not move. It seems to be dead. Terran, you're up.
Okay, seeing that this one seems to be taken care of, I'll move to the one that's been skittering back and go for a hit. That's a dirty 20.
Okay, that's a hit. Roll damage.
3 damage.
Okay, you chop at it as it's trying to flee back. Just, very slow movement. It's crawling away, so it's an easy hit. Igar continues focusing his concentration, and you see he kind of turns towards where Arazen is, and he's focusing his concentration on the one that he could kind of see trying to claw out from behind the door. And you see that Arazen, you see this thing is frantically trying to escape, as if it's fearful of the divine forces that Igar is possessing. Which brings us to Arazen.
What can I see in my sight? Just the one struggling behind the door, and who else? Is there anyone else within range?
No, this one is immediately around the corner. So you could, now that you have your shield, you could kind of step back away from the door and then swing around
Swing at it.
Yeah.
Yes, I take a step back with the momentum of my shield and sword. I swing with a mighty blow. 15.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
7.
Okay. So basically, you back away from the door. You take a step to the side. The door swings open as this thing pushes its way out, not towards you, but away from you and Igar. So you easily swing and hit it on the back as it's trying to flee. And it seems to be just trying to get away from Igar, and it's kind of going away towards one of the other walls. Roll Good, you're up.
So I'm gonna walk over and pick up the torch and try to stick to one of them with the torch. One of them that are on the ground.
There is a dead one that is by Freya, and there's one skittering away that's further into the room by Terran. And then there's one that's moving away actively over by Arazen. So which one?
I want to go for the dead one.
Okay. It's an automatic hit. Roll D4 for fire damage.
4.
Okay. You like run your torch all across the old linen clothes, and they begin igniting and burning. And you see the thing kind of like shaking and convulsing. To them, the one that you are burning doesn't reanimate, but it's definitely affected by this fire. Terran, the one that was skittering away, swipes out at a claw against you. 11. Does that hit?
No, I have a 13 on the class.
It seems to be swiping out at you in defense, and its claw just rakes through the air. And then the other one, Arazen, it shambles away further from you across towards the other wall. And that brings us to the top with Gizmo.
Okay. There is one still standing, which I can see from the top of the stairs. Am I correct? Or from the middle?
You would have to move down.
Yeah.
Next to Igar in order to see, because all of them have kind of gone further into the room.
Okay. So I move down, and if I see any of them, I'm shooting with the sling.
Okay. Which one? Terran's or Arazen's?
Which one is closer?
They're both about 20 feet away.
Parents.
Okay.
10 plus 4 is...
That's a hit. Roll damage.
3.
Okay. Arazen, over your shoulder, you hear a stone fly by you and hit the zombie as it's trying to shamble away. Freya, you're up.
I'm going up to probably Terrence as well.
Okay.
Go after him with a rapier.
Okay. Normal attack, no bonuses. This one's ambulatory.
That's a 15.
That's a hit.
5 damage.
5 damage. Okay. You stab into it, and you hear your rapier definitely pierce its chest cavity, and there's like a suction sound when you pull your rapier out, and old, kind of oozing dry blood just kind of comes with it. Dark, rotten blood. Terran, you're up.
All right, let's give it the old one too. That's 16.
That's a hit. Damage.
All right, and I come in with my nice little hand axe. That's just a lot of 4s tonight. 4 damage.
Okay. It's very wounded. Though showing no signs of restraint, it's still going to try to lash out. Igar continues focusing his magic. And the one that is trying to flee from Arazen as Igar moves in, it continues to flee away from Igar, which brings it to Arazen. So this zombie is almost just defensively kind of back swiping at you, but it's also moving away.
I want to lob its head off.
Okay, go ahead. Standard attack.
10.
That's a hit.
Yes. 5.
You don't cut its head off, but you definitely gash into its shoulders and its neck, and its head kind of like flops sideways, and it sort of falls into the wall and sort of crumples down. Roll good, you're up.
Okay, I want to know exactly where I'm standing in relationship to Terran and his zombie.
You are halfway between the door and Terran and his zombie, so you're about 15 feet away.
Okay, then I'm...
Not even, like 10 feet.
Okay, then I want to take the torch, and I want to try to hit the zombie with my torch.
Okay.
Over the head. Is that a regular attack, then?
Yep.
Okay. That is then a 7.
You go to swipe in, and the zombie lurches forward as it goes to attack. The question is, who shall it attack? 1, 2, 3, Terran, 4, 5, 6. Or sorry, 1, 2, Terran, 3, 4, Freya, 5, 6, Kolb. Terran. Ooh, a 15.
That hits.
You take 3 damage as it rakes across some part of your body that is slightly exposed, and scrapes your skin and blood with its claws. Up next... Nope. So the first one that you dropped is still burning from where Brolgood lit it up. And the smoke is like a dark, noxious smoke, and it smells like burning flesh. The second one, Arazen, before your very eyes, the zombie that you just knocked down, that slumped, starts to like twitch, and it starts to like flop around towards you.
Of course it does.
It does not attack, but it's reanimated, and it starts to kind of come around with its neck flopping, but still like snarling and claws raking through the air towards you. This brings us to Gizmo.
Can I ask, the one that I have thrown my dagger at is the one on fire?
No. Wait. Yes. That is burned. Yes, it's the one on fire.
Okay, then I move close to it and fire at Arazen again.
Okay.
17 plus 4, I believe that's 21, and for 1 damage.
You hit it again. Okay. Freya, you are up.
Yeah. Taking the swipe at the guy in front of me.
Okay.
It's an 8.
Miss. The 3 of you are just...
11. It was a 9.
That's a hit.
Yeah, and it's 1 damage.
Okay. The 3 of you are just bombarding this thing between Freya, Brolgood, and Terran. Terran, you're up. This stubborn bastard is still raking out at the air against all 3 of you.
Just die already! That's a 21.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
Yes, finish him, brother.
It's 2 damage though.
That is just enough. You hit it and it falls backwards into a bunch of shelves and like knocks over a bunch of stuff and slumps to the ground. Igar continues his prayers against the one that is reanimating. by Harrison. Oh, clutch! Let me see what that means. I rolled double sixes, which is good when you're turning undead. The thing that is like reanimating towards Arizen, all of a sudden it drops, like it just slumps and drops.
Nice.
Arizen, you are up. Now, you notice, by the way, over your shoulder, you see this thing just drop as Igar is behind you, his prayers fervently being shouted. The animated thing drops in front of you. You see out of the corner of your eye, the first one that Terran was fighting is completely in flames and not twitching or moving anymore. And you see your other three friends. You see like Terran just having hit with his axe this other one that slumps up against the wall. You're muted.
I say to Igar, does your spell, is it permanent? Or will it reverse at some point? Do I still need to remove his head? Or can I take this one off?
He says, I don't know. Kill it dead. And,
I finished taking its head off.
all right. You basically wind up with your sword and come down on its neck and decapitate it. Its head rolls off and not much blood comes out. And it's just rotten, stinky flesh. Roll good. You are up.
So one is missing a head, one's on fire, and the third one?
The third one that you, Terran, and Freya are all around just got knocked to the ground.
Okay, I'm taking my torch to that one.
Okay. No roll necessary. Just roll a d4 for fire damage to see how well this ignites.
3.
Okay. You do the same thing that you did with the other corpse, running your torch up and down its rotten old clothing, and it begins lighting up. This one, however, is pretty close to the wooden shelves.
Oh.
Freya, what do you and Terran do as you see this?
I was thinking of taking a relative time and poking my rapier through one of his eyes.
Terran, what do you do?
I'll grab it by the leg and pull it away from the shelves.
Yeah, you drag him away from the shelves, so he's more in the center of the rocky dirt, and the body continues burning. The smoke is billowing, and you guys are in this area, and you start to cough. You can't really. It starts to get to the point where you can't really sustain being in this room. You don't think that the flames from the burning corpses are going to ignite anything, but at the same time, there's a lot of foul smoke. And Igar backs out of the room and kind of puts his holy symbol down to his chest and says, "Oh, I can't breathe." And he runs out up the stairs to the backyard.
I try to recover my dagger. And is it possible from the burning body or not?
It is. How do you reach out and grab it?
That's a really good question.
Tell you what, Terran on his way out takes his axe and just hits the dagger and knocks it out of the body.
Okay.
And you grab a cloth and use that to pick up the very hot dagger.
Yeah.
As you guys exit, I'm assuming nobody stays down in the smoke-filled basement.
No,
I'm getting out of there.
As you guys exit the church, the smoke is starting to kind of seep out of the basement, but it's not, as I said, it's not igniting anything else. And you see Igar in the backyard kind of like coughing and clearing his eyes, wiping his eyes off. You guys also have a few coughs. And between the smell of the rotting bodies and the smoke from it, you take a minute to kind of get some fresh air, splash some water on your face.
Erzan, did you took that hat you cut off?
Actually, no, it rolled down the corridor.
Oh.
So what do you
Okay.
guys do? You're outside getting the fresh air.
Well,
That wasn't that bad.
Igar, that was something. What? You said you never done that before?
No, never, not successfully.
It was quite
I'm
amazing.
glad you're successful
amazing.
tonight. That really made the difference.
Most certainly.
oh, should we try to board it up for now, or do we want to continue when the smoke stops?
I
Oh, wait a
assume
minute,
that the
smoke
smoke
clears.
can still release if we board the door back up for a moment.
The body shouldn't burn for that long.
I don't think we should leave here quite yet, but
No.
Yeah, no,
Once- and Igar looks around and he says, "Wasn't there a well out there? Maybe we could fill a bucket with water."
There might
Okay.
be. Could try that.
Taryn will go look and try and fetch a bucket of water.
Yeah, you go around the front, and once again, by the way, nobody's outside. All the doors, all the shutters are closed. You go over to the simple little stone well, and you see a rope and a bucket. You tie the rope off. You lower the bucket down. You bring it up, untie the rope, and you've got a nice bucket of water.
Bring it on over.
Yeah, you go around. Few minutes later, 10 minutes later, you guys have sufficiently doused the burned, charred corpses. It's still very smoky, but the back door has allowed some of the smoke to vent. As you guys are looking now with I'm assuming you have your torches and you're I want you to all make, or those of you who desire to, make search rolls.
Definitely will. That's a 1.
Oh,
Nope.
4 out of
I got a
4.
1 for me too.
so you guys are kind of spreading out and you're all searching, and I'll tell you kind of what you see down here. Most of the shelves look like they have some very basic supplies. There are cleaning supplies and old rags and brooms, and some wood oil that's looked like maybe it's for cleaning floors. You do find a lot of candles, many of which look like recycled candles, and some thinner kind of prayer candles that you're familiar with. People will donate to the church and get a candle and use that to do prayers. You see some other very kind of old, very used clerical vestments, like the robes worn by priests. And as you're searching through this stuff, you also find other supplies, some buckets, some soap. You even find like canned preserves of like fruit and stuff, fruit preserves. As you're looking through this stuff though, Roll Good, you find a series of incense burners, like censers basically, that have cups where you could put incense and burn it, and it's kind of some chains. And amongst those, you also find a whole bunch of different like candle holders and even like a candelabra. One of the candle holders has a very interesting look to it, and it looks very familiar. And in fact, as you examine it closer, it has the pillar and fluting of the candle holders that you have found in other locations. And in the cup of this candle holder, you also see a crescent symbol.
I take that from the shelf and I say, "Look, guys, we found another one." And I give it to Gizmo so they can inspect it further.
As you are doing this, Arazen is also looking around through a bunch of stuff. And Arazen, you're over by the far corner, farthest opposite from where the door is. And you're kind of looking through this jumble of, like, there's like a wooden shelving unit that just has a bunch of like old stuff on it, like rusty nails, and some tools, like there's like a hammer and a saw and a few like wooden like carrying cases, and some old leather straps, and it just looks like a bunch of random junk. But as you're looking over there, you hear something. You don't see something, but you hear something. You hear the faint sound of scratching, almost as if it's coming from behind this wooden shelving unit. And that is where we will end this episode of the Lamenters. Tune in next time to find out what lurks deeper in the church cellar. See you, everybody. Thank you.
Hello, it's me, Wizzy. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. And then don't forget to tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and crafting videos and DM tips and pro tips for vlogging and all sorts of gaming things. And also you could watch Bill eat food and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.